Good evening, thank you so much for joining us. I'll just say a couple things before we begin and then let the music go. We had to get this out of the way since it's probably on everybody's mind, and we had something ready in case it was. Today we'd like to say, may the 4th be with you. I won't speak between each of the numbers, but I do want to mention kind of the thematic material of this concert tonight. It's not really clear unless you know kind of where I'm coming from with my ideas behind it. And that is, this is a concert of American jazz and the influences that created jazz. So there's not all direct lines. We can't say that this march by Claude T. Smith, which came a long time after jazz had begun in the early 20th century in New Orleans, is a piece that is a influence of jazz. But it's written in a style of music that would have influenced American jazz. So this is a Spanish march. So jazz used lots of marches and lots of wind band military styles to start, and they started swinging with those bands, and that led us to the big band sound eventually in the 1920s and 30s. The other thing about Spanish music is the scale pattern, and the sound that gives Spanish music its sound is a scale, and a mode of a scale, and that is present in this music, and it's used again and again and again in jazz music. So this is a Spanish march called Zia Zia, and the Zia Zia is the circle that has the 4 lines coming out of it in each direction. I believe it's the New Mexico state flag that has that image or that symbol of the Zia. This is Zia Zia.
One of the early great composers of jazz was named Jelly Roll Morton. He was a New Orleans piano player, and if you ever want to read an interesting life story, read the biography of Jelly Roll Morton. And I won't go into any more detail because there are children around, but it's quite the story. And he said that jazz would not be without this. He said, the Spanish tinge. And I kind of already mentioned that. Well, part of his family was French Creole, and another part of his family was from Haiti. And the Latin rhythm, the Caribbean rhythm, really became very important to establishing the sound and the beat of jazz. And that's where the peanut vendor fits into this. The rhythms that you hear in our percussion section and the way that we syncopate, that's kind of a jazz thing. And so el manicero is the correct term for it if you're in Spanish, but this is the peanut vendor.
The next piece is a Count Basie band tune and featured lots of different drummers through the years in the Basie band. But whenever you see that name Neil Hefti, you kind of automatically, the composer of the tune, kind of automatically assume that it's going to be Count Basie band and the sound of Kansas City Big Band. It does feature a drummer and it has really cute little instrumental parts. The tough part for us is that we're almost in unison the entire time. So we're doing this tight little jazz rhythm, and then we have a drummer trying to throw us off a little bit with all those syncopated, fun little parts that the drummer improvises. Tonight, playing the percussion part is our fine instructor. He's worked with our bands for as many years as I can remember back now. He's been the most stable member of my staff for years now. He comes in once a week to work with the high school and the middle school kids. He's a fantastic influence on them. As you can read in his bio in there, noted around the country for his adjudication and work with semi-pro and professional groups, and he lives down the road in Ray Township and is able to come and work with our kids once a week. Since he's been a part of it, our percussion ensemble has grown by leaps and bounds as far as quality and in quantity. As you can see on the stage, the number of percussionists back there, and the close to 20 we're going to have in the high school band next year. Please welcome to the stage my friend, Mr. Dave Pickett. This group of kids on the stage, the front ones, they're our symphonic band, and this is our percussion ensemble. It looks like almost all of them out there for the percussion ensemble. And we have a great staff at St. Clair High School that, I will say, I need 40 kids to come to another class someday, and they'll be like, go ahead and take them. And I think there's two sides to that road. One is the teachers are really cool about saying, yeah, we can let them go. We get it. It's to make this thing work for you and for what we do here after school and to put it all together. They let us have them. The other thing that's really cool is we have kids that do what they're supposed to do in school. I know parents, there's times when you wish they did a little better. But I can tell you that we have really great kids in band. And this is my 6th hour of the day, and they've always been really fun to work with this year. And they're a great group of kids. We're going to close with a really fun song. And I don't think I need to tell you what it's from, because I think you're going to recognize it. But it is by one of my musical heroes, Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones, if you don't know who he is, another great musical icon, still alive today and doing work actually still today. He started playing jazz in the 1930s in New York City and with Count Basie's band, and has done such things as produce the Thriller album with Michael Jackson. And he's still doing work today, all these years later. And this is one of his compositions, in addition to all the other musical work he does. Brilliant guy. Quincy Jones's Soul Bossa Nova. So this would be a rag put into a military band style, and interestingly, it was written by Carl King in the same exact year that the first jazz recording ever to come out was, and that was by a band from New Orleans called the Original Dixieland Jazz Band. The only problem with that recording is that none of them were really original Dixieland jazz players. They kind of just copied the style of other people that were around, but they were the first to record, and so they became very well known for that. They sold 250,000 copies of the single in 1917. Kind of an amazing thing to think about. If you ever post a video to YouTube, just try and get 100 hits today. And in 1917, they sold 250,000 copies of their single. Original Dixieland Jazz Band, One Step is the tune. This is The Walking Frog by Carl King, who was the band leader of the Barnum and Bailey Circus Band, and he kind of takes a little version of a rag into a marching band, I guess I would, and it's called The Walking Frog. Typically, we would associate a polka with German or Polish music. Well, in this case, it's an Italian polka written by a Russian. Sergei Rachmaninoff went on vacation in Italy and heard a song that he really liked, took it back to Russia and decided, that song I heard in Italy, I think I want to do my own version of it, kind of thing. And so this is the Italian polka by the Russian Sergei Rachmaninoff. The influence of Brazilian sounds and rhythms on jazz really is quite profound. In the 1960s, Antonio Carlos Jobim, Yao Gilberto, Stan Getz got together and put together an album called The Girl from Ipanema. Yeah, and that is the sound of Brazil. It had been around a long time in Brazil, but when it came to America, that was a revolution in jazz. And we, I hear that. Yeah, I know that one. I know that. A lot of people call it now like elevator jazz. It has kind of a stigma as being like not cool jazz, not fast jazz, not intense jazz. But boy, is it nice to listen to, isn't it? Isn't that kind of jazz nice to listen to? This is folk songs from Brazil that use two beats that are very common in jazz music, the bossa nova and the beguine. And if you want to listen to the thing that jazz steals the most, it's the wooden sticks called the clave. And I don't know who plays them first. It looks like Megan does. And you've heard them on other tunes. Megan, just hold them up and strike them together once so they hear them. That rhythm that you're going to hear from in these tunes, not to put her on the spot, but that rhythm and anybody that plays that rhythm along in the band is kind of the feel that we're going to get out of the bossa nova and the beguine. It's called the clave, and the instrument is called the clave as well. Duke Ellington is, if you I've seen a couple of interviews of Count Basie, and they say, who's the best jazz player you've ever worked with? And he says, well, the answer is obvious, Duke Ellington. And I heard Dizzy Gillespie interview, who's the greatest jazz player you ever? Duke Ellington. He's probably the greatest American composer that doesn't get the credit he deserves. 5,000 compositions in his lifetime. That's more than Mozart. And the issue probably is that he played jazz, right? And jazz wasn't considered such a high art as the work of like Mozart and the operas and the symphonies that he wrote. But Duke Ellington, 5,000 compositions in his life. And this is one of the great ones from the early days with his Puerto Rican-born trombone player, Juan Tizol. And it's called Caravan, and it's funny because you kind of get the feel of like North Africa from the title, but yet you get the feel of Latin America from the rhythm and America from the jazz articulation, the sound, the syncopation. So this is Duke Ellington's, from one of his stage shows at the Cotton Club, this is Caravan. And kids that are moving on from St. Clair bands. But first I want to say a couple thank yous. We've had a really great year at St. Clair bands again, and it's large part to the students that I teach, the parents that make sure that they're where they're supposed to be, and the boosters who help organize all the events. We have a great staff at St. Clair High School. We have great administrators. We have awesome custodians. Mr. Wigington at St. Clair High School, I can't say enough great things about. He comes to my room almost every day because they're trying to figure out the heating and cooling. How is it? How is it today? That's really special care. And we don't have it figured out yet, but we're working on it. And it's nice to have someone like that. And our whole building, it's all a team. And I really appreciate all of you that come to these events and support these kids and make it possible to do the things that they do. It's really fun working with them, and I couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Our band boosters this year, the president, Ron Smith, Carrie Brickner, vice president, Sherry Oles, treasurer, and Doreen Dwyer, secretary. And that's just the acting officers. Yes. And there are many more that do tons behind the scene. We have chair people, and we've had a lot of great events this year, and I literally couldn't do it without you. Thank you, band boosters. A couple of business items. One, Haley Trends was accidentally left off the program for wind ensemble, so I wanted to mention her name. She's probably embarrassed right now, but I wanted to make sure I said that. And yes, her friends and family down here clapping, good. Also, pizza kits, if you haven't seen them yet, they're due Monday. Delivery May 17th. I'll have more at school tomorrow. T-shirt order forms, if you haven't seen those yet, I did text those out on Remind. Those are due on Friday. And now for the more fun stuff. Sophomores earn a varsity letter in band for completing 2 years of marching band. Not an easy task, and they should probably get it their third day of marching band camp if they're still coming. It's shocking at that point, isn't it? And this is the time when they go from maybe dreading what band camp is about to looking forward to it. These are great kids, and they are all very deserving of a varsity letter for their participation. They are Abigail Bowes, Cannon Brooks, Carly Cadrew, Henry Carlson, Kylie Churchill, Allison Cole, Christina DeGregory, Cassie Dunay, Alicia Philippus, Connor Fleury, David Fountain, Margaret Ganane, Hannah Hyde, Olivia Herner, Ryan Johnson, Zach Koo, Megan Lambrecht, Melissa Malinowski, Mallory May, Ben Morgulek, Mike Morowski, Julian Nicholson, Devin Peters. You guys better move down a little bit more. There's a few more. We're only at P in the alphabet here. Kaylee Peterson, Cooper Piperzak, Nicholas Poma, John Richardson, Bradshaw Roberts, Lindsay Rourke, Caleb Rowell, Spencer Rouse, Jared Smith, Emily Tenniswood, Haley Trends. Are they all going to fit on stage? Keep going, Abigail. They want to see their faces when they come out and get their award. We're hiding in the shadows. Keep going. There you go. Where was I? Did I say Emily? I said Haley. Haley Trends, Maggie Wentrack, and Lily Woodsky. The class of 2018. Yeah. Thirty-six members of the sophomore class. Thank you, guys. You can go now. Thank you. Tonight I would like to, we are lucky enough at St. Clair High School to have several scholarships that are awarded annually by families from the area. Tonight I'd like to invite Mrs. Brisbois and Mr. Bowden to the stage if they are here and would like to come up. We'd love to have you on stage. I know Mrs. Brisbois was planning on coming. for the presentation of our annual music scholarships. These are donated monies annually. The families are nice enough to say, we want this money to go to kids in our bands that are going to come back. So this is money that goes out, and kids go take lessons, go to camps, that sort of thing. Hello, Mrs. Brisboy. Come on up. This is Sue Brisboy. Her husband, Clayton Brisboy, worked with bands at St. Clair for years and years, and he was a huge fan of kids and music. And I always say this, his saying was, and I say this to my kids all the time, you have to look good, you have to sound good, and you have to smell good when you come on stage. So we still carry Clayton's words of wisdom with us to every concert. Tonight, I offered to my students, I wanted to know who was interested in a scholarship, and I had 5 students submit applications, and all 5 of those students will get a scholarship tonight. The Brisboy Scholarship this year will go to Samantha Inwood, Dylan Mykoff, and Lindsay Ruark. Come on out, girls. Wonderful. There you go. This is and Lindsay Rourke. Thank you for coming. We're going to get a picture. Thank you. Sonia Bowden was a student who attended St. Clair High School and loved music, but her life was cut too short. Her family honors her memory by contributing money for a scholarship fund every year. This year, the scholarship will go to Christina DeGregory and Allison Cole. Okay, thank you. Next, coming onto the stage is the senior class of 2016. Hard to believe these kids are graduating. The years seem to go quicker, don't they? This is my 16th year of teaching, and this is the class of 2016. And they're a great class of students. I'm going to miss them very much, and they've been wonderful additions to the band program. Amazing to think that most of these kids have committed to band every year for the past 7 years. In this day and age, to find that time in your schedule, it shows just how committed you are and how much you love what we're doing. And it's a special group. The seniors this year are Abigail Barker, Kate Beauchamp, Isabel Bowes, Alexandra Card, Andrew Curry, Elizabeth Ellery, Adam George, Eli George, Austin Gore, Nicole Hicks.
We're working on it.
Oh, yeah, I'll slow down. Brendan Hertgam, Morgan Kroner, Bettina Lee, Kenny Matson, Brooke Pauley, Victor Pelka, Emily Russell, Sarah Smith, Ali Stefanko, John Stager, Kaylin Weir. And if I could just add a side note, as you look up at this group on the stage, the top 49 students in our class, in the graduating class at St. Clair High School, meaning they are ridiculous grade point averages for high school students. I mean, remarkable at what they do. 20 of the 49 are on stage right now. The senior class gets some awards that are nationally recognized. They're given out at schools across the country. The Louis Armstrong Award is given out for excellence in jazz and can be given to only one senior at each high school in the nation. The namesake of the award was a true innovator, entertainer, humanitarian, and the first great artist in the first American art form, jazz. This young musician is a fantastic player and took over the mantle of taking a solo every day, every time, and that's how you get better at jazz. Perhaps the last time I'll be able to say this, my jazz violin player, Allie Cole. Or Card, oh my gosh, Allie Card, I'm so sorry. I have it written there so I don't screw up, and look what I do. Allie Card. The Eggers Award was created at St. Clair High School in honor of the longtime band director of the Saints, Carl Eggers. This award can be given to seniors who best demonstrate the qualities of an excellent leader in band. Both of these young people were voted on by their class as excellent leaders, and I couldn't agree more. They are John Stager and Morgan Kroner. The John Philip Sousa Award can be granted to only one senior for each high school in the nation. This award is presented to the senior who best exemplifies musical excellence in many areas. Positive attitude, personal growth, musical skills, and high musical standards should all be considered in this nomination. The winner, and voted upon by his class members, and couldn't agree more, Eli George. In August of 2015, just before school started, a tragic accident took the life of St. Clair High School band alumni Joey Lynch. His family, who is here with us tonight, donated the memorials back to the St. Clair bands. Joey was a unique individual in my history as a teacher, and his death hit me very hard. This award is to honor the special contribution he made to our band and to honor other students like Joe. Bands are built on students like Joe. In his 4 years in band, I cannot recall a time when he missed a concert or a rehearsal. He was always there and ready. At school, Joe was always quick to tell me a story from a movie he just recently saw, usually a thriller, car chase, monster movie, something like that. Tell me the whole plot if I had time. And then he would quickly get his instrument ready and sit and read a book until class started. Usually science fiction. Joe liked monsters. He had many friends in band and opened up more and more as he progressed through high school. At that time, a group of drum majors wanted to give awards to students who they felt were exemplary models of students in the Marching Saints. Joey won this award for his section his junior year of high school. He really was the most valuable player in band that year in his section. It sounds cliche, but sometimes it's not about how good we are, but how far we've come. And this award will be presented each year to members of the graduating class who exemplify the most valuable player, the attitude and the model for our bands at St. Clair High School. Tonight, the first ever recipients of this award are all perfect examples of the kids who don't miss a beat and work to make everyone around them better. It's a quiet form of leadership, and I start back where I began. Bands are built on these kinds of kids. The Joey Lynch Memorial Most Valuable Player Awards, Isabel Bowes, Kaylin Weir, and Abigail Barker. And now, let's get on with the music. Let's go.
Or not.
Or not.
It is time for the senior gifts, Mr. Bowles.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh, it's very good. Take your rightful spot, center of the stage.
Center?
Yes, center stage. So, for those who don't know, every year the senior class gets together and pitches. What? What? It what? Ooh. We have a bit of a issue backstage. Kenny had an issue with the slapstick. It's kind of not in workable condition anymore. Good news is we have another one. Would you like to present the brand new slapstick from the percussion ensemble? You can't keep the coat. The coat's Andrew's. So, like the new toy?
I think it's a little sharp, but we can work with it.
Don't worry. And now for part 2 of the presentation. Yes. So this year, Mr. Bowles underwent a major transformation. He did something many Michiganders have not been able to do in a very, very long time, and that's he gave up on the Lions. He is now a Packers fan, if I do believe. So what we decided to do was to give him what every Packers fan wants, and that's cheese.
Starting with the jokes.
And the cheese.
What do you call a buck?
I don't know.
Dead.
What has 3 teeth and 20 feet?
What?
The front row of the Country Music Awards.
Hey, John.
What?
What did the percussionist get on his IQ test?
I don't know.
Drool.
Hey, Morgan. Hey, Morgan.
Yeah.
What's the difference between God and a pianist?
I don't know.
God doesn't see himself as a pianist.
Hey, John.
What?
How many conductors does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know, Morgan.
No one does. No one looks up at him anyway.
So, the cheese is all fun and games, but finally, there it is. We have the major part of the gift, and that is this New Year's Day, he will be sitting in, I believe, section 347, row 15, seat 11 at the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers game at Detroit with his wife. And now, on with the music.
coming with me, or is that just... No. Oh, no, okay, all right. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. What a gift. We'll see who wins, won't we? Thank you. Honestly, that's what it's like to be in class with them every day. The fun it's great. It's great. So I have to explain a little bit about this piece. Thelonious Monk is known for his jazz composition and for his contribution to the bop era in the 1940s. Really one of the most unique jazz musicians that ever lived, and a unique sound. I'm going to need to find my music because I got to play on this one. I just thought of it. Sorry. You see African drums up here. Well, African rhythms and polyrhythm and that sort of thing, that's really where jazz grew its rhythm roots from. So we have African drums up here. But on those African drums, they are going to play a beat that was the first sign that we were getting over into jazz from blues, and it's called the Big Four beat. The Big Four beat goes like this. Boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch, ba-boom, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch, ba-boom, boom. And that little jump and that syncopation as that changes over, that's the Big Four. So we start with the Big Four on the African drums. We get more polyrhythm, we get more improvisation, and then we bring in Thelonious Monk from the bebop era in the 1940s on top of it. So this is probably more weird than the Russian writing a polka in Italy. This is Thelonious Monk's Well, You Needn't. some movie music from the 1940s. The Fleet's Inn, 1942 was in this movie, and this is a Johnny Mercer tune. Frank Sinatra did a really great version of it, and they fell in love with it, and they're doing a great job with it. This is called Tangerine, just a great swing big band tune. Eli George on trumpet, Emily Russell on the piano. We're going to feature these two again. Eli's going to come up and play a little trumpet solo in the old style. This is Duke Ellington again, and it's not by accident that Duke Ellington is the only person who's twice on this program. This is a great little ballad Duke Ellington and Irving Mills wrote. Emily's going to come up and sing. I let a song go out of my heart. Hi, George and Emily Russell. Okay, so you may have noticed the jazz band grew at the semester, right? We added 3 new players, I think, 3 or 4 new players, and that's great. But we had already started working on a tune that was really hard, and we said, because we're pulling it off a recording, so that's transcription in jazz, and so we're listening to this recording by a French violin player, Jean-Luc Ponty, and we said, you know what, guys, we got this one, we're going to do it. So we're going to have some of the kids just take a walk off stage real quick, and then Eli's going to grab a tambourine. Now, that French violin player, did I tell you he was a violin player, Jean-Luc Ponty? So we're going to feature our violin player, Ali Card, and this is a really cool tune, and it's the violin part is completely improvised on the recording, and Ali's taken that upon herself to do that. It's not the exact transcription, but she is taking the idea of this tune, and she's improvising her way throughout the entire thing. This is called Mirage. We had to bring in a couple big saxophones to do this one. So we got Luke and Tyler coming in. This is, it was originally written by Joe Zawinul, who's a piano player from Austria. And it's just this soulful, soulful tune that was covered by Cannonball Adderley called Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. And we're going to do the Buddy Rich version of it, which is a little more upbeat. The first one's real bluesy, and this one's kicking. I love it. Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. Kalen Weir on the guitar and Dylan Mykoff on the bass. And you can't play Buddy Rich without recognizing the drummer. That was John Steger on the drum set. We have one more we got to play for you. And that's, here, let's get it set up. You guys go ahead and go on out there, okay? Let's get into our spots. Yep, yeah, there's the other one. Go ahead. Musicians, come out. Go. Seems like when you watch those Grammy things at the end of the year and they do in memoriam, seems like there's more and more musicians that I listen to a lot on those every year. This year's been particularly rough, hasn't it? And recently losing Prince. With my wide view of what music education is about, we had a little Prince listening session the day after and did a little bit of learning, and we heard about it during 6th hour, and I will never forget that one student said to me, "Mr. Volz, Prince died." And another student said to me, "Who's Prince?" That was when I knew what I had to do the next day, didn't I? Likewise with this tune today. For all of us that were alive in the 80s, we all knew David Bowie, didn't we? These kids didn't, so I had to make sure that they got a little bit of their music education, some David Bowie. This is one of my all-time favorite songs of his. This is Modern Love. Thank you so much. Andrew Curry, David Castowny, Allison Cole, Shauna McIntosh, and John Steger on vocals. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you.